Dr. Anderson continues, alternatively, problematic terms can be appropriately qualified so as to eliminate formal inconsistency. For example, now listen up very, very closely, because this is going to help you in dialoguing with your Christian friends who don't hold to the Trinitarian position, who think that the Bible itself is psychobabble when it comes to explaining the nature of God, and they base their position on not understanding the fact that they are perhaps being trapped by a puzzle approach to the Bible. They think that the Bible should make sense from a logical perspective at all times, and I'm trying to tell you that it doesn't always have to make sense from a logical perspective. Although it contains logical consistency, it sometimes strikes us as logically inconsistent if we are trying to fit God into our own analytic mold. So Dr. Anderson challenges by giving us this particular example of qualifying the eliminating formal inconsistency. Listen to this example. For example, Anderson says, the term one, quote unquote, right, I and my Father are one. The term one can be redefined to accommodate the enumerative oddities raised by the metaphysics of divine personhood, right? Jesus is one, but he's one person, while still applying in the usual way to non-divine persons and other mundane entities. So we've got one God who's made up of three persons, and Jesus is one of those persons. So I and the Father are one. We could understand this to mean Jesus belongs to the being known as the one God, and yet Jesus is one of the persons of that one being known as God. So we have to understand the equivocal nature of this phrase one. It can be redefined. It accommodates the enumerative oddities raised by the metaphysics. Remember, we talked about metaphysics last week, right? It's this idea of, it's a branch of philosophy, as I click on my definition, that deals with the first principles of things, right? How is God made up? This is kind of bleeding into ontology, but what is the nature of God's construction? The first principle of things, including abstract concepts, right? We're dealing with the nature of God. That's kind of an abstract construct in some cases, such as being, knowing, substance, cause, identity, time, and space. So that's what I mean by metaphysics. So Anderson concludes, whatever route is taken, right, when we're trying to disambiguate the concepts of Trinity as found in the Bible, whatever route is taken, however, the essential point is this. Listen up. Given that we are dealing with a makru, right, given the fact that we're dealing with merely an apparent contradiction resulting from unarticulated equivocation, in plain language, we're dealing with a lack of verbiage in the Bible that would satisfy our logical curiosity. Given that truth, the vocabulary used to express the doctrine of the Trinity can in principle be adapted so as to eliminate any formal contradiction.